Hi, I'm Jameson Newlander, Alan Frog from the Lost Boys, and you're watching the Frog Brothers podcast.
Let me get 'em!
It's refreshment time, folks.
I'm just gonna go watch a movie.
Do you like scary movies?
I don't watch movies.
I have to return some videotapes.
You have a TV?
No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. Don't need a TV.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.
Over 1,600 titles, each for rent at just $2 the first night, and only
Finish him. I don't watch TV.
Yeah, but you are aware that there's an invention called television, and on this invention they show shows, right?
It's a laser disc.
Okay, I want channels 18, 24, 63, 109, 87, and Weather Channel.
Welcome to the Frog Brothers podcast with your hosts, Justin and Alec.
All right. Hello, and welcome to a special episode of the Frog Brothers podcast. I am Justin. My brother Alec is absent tonight. He is working, trying to save up for, I think just life in general, probably that HasLab proton pack that's dropping tomorrow. So with us tonight, I have John. You might know him as the Night.Game.Umpire on Instagram. And if you're familiar with his work, you know how incredible it is. So welcome, John. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I feel a little unworthy with some of the awesome guests that you guys have had. This is a pretty big honor.
Oh man, the work you put into that is total dedication. So we had to talk about it. You know, you've kind of gotten the buzz of everybody. I saw Ghostbusters News talk about you there. So kind of all the big hitters in the Ghostbusters community know and are aware of that project. So, we chatted just a little bit before we got started here, and you said there's a hailstorm tonight, so you had to bring all the goodies in to protect them.
Yeah, man, that's Texas. It's been 90 degrees like all October, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, a hailstorm, and I think we're going to get a cold front tomorrow. So I have 4 of them still out there. They've been doing pretty good in the Texas summer, though. Texas heat, or not summer, but Texas heat, Texas rain, been doing okay.
Awesome. What kind of paint are you using on those? Are you doing a clear coat or anything too?
Yeah, so I lay down some pretty good primer, and then I do 5 or 6 coats of acrylic paint. So it's just craft paint.
Okay.
And
awesome.
some I found works better than others. Some of them are starting to crack a little bit, so I'm gonna have to touch them up.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you could almost probably spray paint the base of some of those if you wanted to, but that would really complicate it. But man, that Slimer right behind you looks amazing.
Yeah, thanks. He was one of the first ones. Egon was the very first. But yeah, thanks. Slimer and Egon are 3 years old now. So Egon I haven't even touched up, and he's done okay. And then Janine's Genie was just added this year. So
that's awesome.
He's brand new.
Yeah, I love how much stuff you have going there, and you've got the projector on the driveway showing off. You had the trailer showing the other day, so that was pretty cool. I saw that. So
yeah,
killing it on
try to promote.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you get a lot of people driving by the neighborhood or local news attention and stuff?
Yeah, it's been pretty busy. That Ecto one I put right out front, and I have the window cut out. So yeah, definitely people our age with their little kids coming now into the mix and getting their pictures in front of it. It's been pretty neat. Last year, we had a pretty good line around the block. I guess with COVID, everyone was a little stir crazy.
Absolutely.
So this year, it's a little less, but yeah, it's still been pretty good.
That's awesome. So has anyone reached out to you locally from a movie theater or anything to hit you up to bring some of that down for the movie premiere? Because imagine if you were near me, I'd be like, hey, if you want to bring that down, we'll get the family into a movie. We'll get you some goodies, some treats. And if you let us have a few of these things up to welcome folks to the show.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'd be more than willing to do it. Chive, there's a website, the Chive. They're local. They're from Austin, or their headquarters in Austin.
Yeah, they do all the Bill Murray stuff. They've got all the. Actually, they partnered and did the Bill Murray golf, the William Murray golf stuff. So
yeah, that's right.
That's pretty awesome that they do all that, and you've been on there showing that off. I think I did see that on there too, because it was one of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, that was neat. I've followed Chive forever, but man, when Ghostbuster News covered it, that was, just being a fan of Ghostbusters, that's another level.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see you got some of your real Ghostbusters collection there in the back. So what's your prize possession?
Oh yeah, man. Honestly, the re-release toys, I didn't even know Ghostbusters was a thing among other people because I'm not big on social media. All I have is that Night.Game.Umpire Instagram.
Okay.
And I started a YouTube just to put like some of the projections and stuff I'm using. If other people wanted to use them, I just wanted to put them up there. But I had no idea that this whole world even existed until I started this just to document what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I didn't know people like bought and sold stuff. That was just crazy for me to find out. So when they re-released the old, the new old real Ghostbusters, those are probably my prized ones right there.
That's awesome. So you got the kids involved playing with those too? Did you get a set for them?
Oh yeah, for sure. They got the first pack. So we bought 3 of each because my daughter had to have a set and then my son had to have a set. And then daddy has a set that's up out of reach because my son will tear into them.
Yeah, I found out the hard way. I've got 2 boys, and I had one of the San Diego Comic-Con Back to the Futures from Reaction Figures, and my 4-year-old was 3 at the time, but he grabbed it and started opening. I was like, "Oh man, let's not do that!"
Oh my gosh!
And so I was like, "Okay." So yeah, they've got all the real Ghostbuster stuff and all the new stuff for the Afterlife movie, so they love that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's exciting to see the kids, get into it. Just especially our age, growing up with it. And,
for sure.
I mean, I imagine with your brother, that was, growing up, that was like the thing was Ghostbusters and that team atmosphere and busting with your brother. And
yeah,
cool
so I'm 7 years older than him, so he's kind of the baby brother. So he was kind of like my the bane of my existence for a lot of my youth.
Yeah, your punching bag.
That too, yeah. But he was also mine, so he'd get away with stuff since he was the baby. So
yeah,
but he grew up on that, and obviously we got a common share of pop culture stuff, so which is pretty cool because a lot of people have siblings and they just aren't as close. So
yeah,
out there in that department. So he's a little wild sometimes, but what do you expect? So what
That's awesome y'all could do this stuff though. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Oh no, it's a blast just being able to do something and talk about the things we love. And we'd always have these long conversations on the phone. I'm like, why don't we ever record any of these things when we're talking about it? And we finally got around to it. So so what inspired you to start doing the project, and how long did that take to do that first Egon there?
Man, I've thought about this for years, ever since I guess I was a kid. My mom actually, I have these old Christmas pictures, and she took the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and cut them out on plywood and painted them. And this was before projection, all that stuff. So she just did it all by hand. And I saw that picture, I guess when I was in my 20s. So like, man, if I get a house like real Ghostbusters, that's what I'm gonna have in my front yard. And we bought a house, and that was the first thing that I asked my wife permission for was, can I do this? And she was like, yeah. And then we had kids, and it just kind of played perfectly into it because we're not like we love Halloween, but we're not too into like haunted houses and stuff.
Sure.
But man, like my kids, they first saw Ghostbusters, they loved it, of course, because it's just a movie that has everything. And then the cartoons were released on iTunes. I had the old DVD set, the Time Life series.
Yeah,
but those were, even those were kind of tough with the kids because like the DVDs would crack and
with kids, man, you don't want to let them have free reign of that stuff. Scratch. It's a dangerous situation with those DVDs.
Just this love for real Ghostbusters ever since I can remember, just like everybody else, and saw my opportunity, and she gave me the okay. So
that's pretty awesome to have that kind of support.
Yeah, she's incredible. Now Christmas, I have to let her do whatever she wants, but
it's a fair trade though, I'd say, right?
So far so good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you I'm sure you've snuck in all those Ghostbusters ornaments they've got out this year, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know. She'll be listening to this, so I can't say too much of like how much money I spend on the side on stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
She doesn't know about that Tim Lattier. I've never heard his name pronounced except for on y'all's show. But the Tim Lattier, am I saying that right?
Lottie,
the poster.
Yeah.
Lottie. It's spelled Lattier, so but she doesn't even know about that yet. So I have that up in the corner. And I loved his interview on y'all's show, by the way. I love him talking about these little Easter eggs that he puts in on everything.
He is insanely detailed. So it was awesome.
Yeah, he's another level, dude. Like the fact that like he is my friend or whatever you call it on Instagram. Like
Yeah.
that guys like that, like him and Charlie Doves and all these like, man, I could go on for Baducci studio.
Brennan Pierce.
Yeah, Baducci.
Yeah.
Brandon. Like people like that are real artists, like that I get to have conversations with on there. Like it's surreal to me, man.
Well,
Like,
I mean, you're definitely a real artist, right? Even if you're doing the projection of that, to cut all that out of wood and to do that right, that's not easy, right? If you're, I've used jigsaws plenty before, but to do the kind of detailed work you've done on it and actually get it right and have that, that takes time and talent, right? So you may not be a two-dimensional traditional artist, but you've got the 3D piece going for you. You've figured out how to put an entire presentation together that's quite frankly worthy of being behind a band or something like that, or at a show. Like that's something you'd like see at a real Ghostbusters, the live tour show, And we had Ninja Turtles a live tour, but that stuff would have been right on there with it. So
I appreciate it. I use the projector to do the outline in the original, like several one, actually with Egon. I tried to do it where I would basically trace all of the details on it, but it just looked crappy. Like it kind of looked like a trace. So
sure.
Eventually, I whitewashed the whole thing. I put primer over it and by hand. I try to freehand everything on the inside, or not try to. I freehand everything on the inside, and it just seems to look a lot better. I can't get that tracing thing to look cool, I guess.
Yeah, I think just with the size and scale of that, it makes sense to kind of put it on there natural and see how it feels in a bigger space. Because when you're projecting something that was actually pretty small, I've got a few real Ghostbusters film cells, and the details just aren't there when you try to blow it up. So kind of taking your free liberties there really works because it all looks amazing. So
thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
A lot of time. Each one's like 10 hours if you include the freehand. It takes about 10 hours to do.
Paint on there, yeah, because if you're doing that many layers and stuff. So the closest thing I've done anything like that, I've got a bass guitar that I did a stencil and did some stenciling on, and like have Slimer stenciled on the case and stuff. And
awesome.
So but I use that same stencil, and then I took like 3D glow in the dark paint and like layered up, and I probably did 40 or 50 layers on there to make it like really three-dimensional, like with just really heavy craft paint on there. And I think my nephew still has that. So, like to kind of build something up like that, it's so gratifying to see a project through like that when you're putting that much time into it, especially with painting, because I'm kind of like instant gratification. And so like with painting, you've got to wait for that paint to dry.
Yeah.
It's really hard not to just like want to skip ahead for you. Like, and I really have to walk away from this tonight because I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah. Yeah. That sums it up pretty well, I think.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, you're down in the Austin area, right?
Yes, sir. Yep. Austin, Texas. So we're a suburb just north of Austin. It's Round Rock. They hate it when you call it a suburb, but
sure. Yeah, I get it. Man, have you got to hit up the Alamo Draft House. See if
we go there all the time.
Yeah, see if they'll let you bring some of that down for the movie, man. I bet they would love that. So
that would be cool. You think that would be cheeky though? Like, hey, look what I made. You want to display it?
No, we've reached out to them before. They had one up here and they closed during the pandemic. And but before, our Ghostbuster group would go down there for screenings and stuff. When they put it on, they'd invite us out, and we'd come out and bring all of our gear and just kind of hang out and just be there for fun of it. So they would love to have that down there. So, and they do all that Mondo stuff too. So that's pretty awesome that you got all that right in town. So you're in good hands with the good vibes around town there. I'll tell you that. So
it's a great city. Great city.
So how big into the fandom are you besides doing this? Do you have a pack or anything like that? Or what's your commitment level without getting in trouble with a wife?
So I have a spirit pack. I've been talking actually on Instagram through guys local in the area that build them and have been explaining to me that I maybe could build one myself. I'm nervous. I don't know that I have the skill to do it. I could try it, but I'm nervous that I'll screw it up.
I can tell you right now, based on that skill behind you doing that, man, it'll be a breeze for you. A lot in one of those spirits. I started with one, then I did a buddies of mine, and then I helped another person in our group, and then my brother had one that he'd done some work too, but I wound up trading his pack for mine for it, so he had a better one because I had a full-size thrower on there, and I redid his from scratch. So I took everything down, took it apart completely, repainted it all. You know, a lot of people like talk crap on spirit packs, but man, they're so lightweight. They're perfect.
Yeah.
If you got a bad back, if you're on a low budget, man, that they're just easy to work with. Very forgiving too for the price. So
Yeah.
like right now I've got one on a table behind me that I'm in the process of adding all the afterlife upgrades to. So I'm waiting on a few pieces in the mail still, but I've got all the wiring, I've tapped all the holes for putting all the new wiring on, the orange wiring, and I found a good thread on GB Fans talking about the type of wiring they use and everything. So getting as many accurate pieces as possible before the rush goes crazy, but we'll see what HasLabs announces tomorrow. So
yeah, we might not have to build them anymore after tomorrow. What do you think that price is going to be on it?
Based on the teaser, man, I didn't see any images of a thrower on there. So I'm thinking if they include it with the kind of use it to be supplemental with the Spangler one they released, I'm going to guess 350 to 500 probably.
That's pretty reasonable if it's good.
It is, and everyone's talking about, there's so many people. If you want a good pack, and then Max Factory's doing some awesome stuff. I've got some of his parts. I've got his dry rub labels and a couple other things there from his stuff. And then Ben Kent, a couple of guys in our group have his stuff, and it's amazing. And I actually have the original Novos Proton pack, which that was a whole fiasco. So
I've read about that.
Yeah, I ordered it, and then they were never able to ship it. So I canceled my order, and that was like a nightmare pulling teeth to get them to cancel it and refund me. And then randomly they had a Memorial Day sale in 2019, and they had it 40% off in stock shipping. And I'm like, there's people I know that ordered this that never got theirs. How do you have it in stock to ship? And I literally got it a week later.
So weird.
Off. So yeah, $1,000 item I got for less than what I my early bird special pricing was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've upgraded everything on there to be like real parts, but it's wild to see, what you can throw into one of those. So
yeah, they're impressive. I admire anyone that builds those. Like that, just out here, people will stop by in their full gear with all the kits, and you can tell the love that goes into it. Like it's just, I don't know, man, it's inspiring. Like it just makes you feel good. Just people loving something so much. It just, I don't know, gives you good, not to get all touchy feely, but just gives you such good vibes.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And that's awesome that you got people coming by checking it out. I mean, obviously word of mouth goes a long ways, and that's so impressive. If I lived nearby, I'd definitely be there checking it out in person, because that's like that old school. Yeah, that's like that old school, drive through the neighborhood where everyone's got their wooden Christmas signs up that are customized with all their favorite characters and stuff. And I'm like, doing this for Halloween, that's an even better idea. So I'm waiting.
Do whatever you want for Halloween.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's beautiful. Have you thought about doing any of the more movie style stuff at all?
You mean more Ghostbuster stuff for Halloween, like movie? Yeah. So I really wanted to keep it true to the cartoon. I love the movie, but the cartoon, I mean, that was just like Saturday morning sitting there with my kid brother, just like,
yeah, for sure,
that feel. And no one really does the cartoon now. I see it more and more in the past several years, especially Facebook. I see a lot of people doing the real Ghostbusters for Halloween, which is awesome. Like the more people that do it, maybe we can get a reboot or something, or not a reboot. I don't want that, but a continuation.
Yeah, that's
of it. That would be cool.
That's what we're hoping for. I can't imagine that they wouldn't do something with this the way they've got this property set up. And everyone that was at New York Comic Con that knows all about it, I'm like, oh, so jealous of you guys. So lucky to be there and checking all that out. So any words of wisdom for anybody that wants to tackle a project like that?
Words of wisdom. Let me see. I'm probably the wrong guy to come to for wisdom, but yeah, just patience. And I mean, I say it all the time on my little thing. And if there's anything I can do to help, I put all my templates out there for free, and I don't, want to charge for anything. I think the more people with real Ghostbusters in their yard, the better. So patience is the big thing. And if you aren't like someone who wants to freehand and do all that detail work, there's no shame in using a projector and, tracing it all out. Just, it's a labor of love. So treat it like that. Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know if it's wisdom, but those are my words.
Because, sometimes people, people don't know where to start on a project like that. Sometimes it can be intimidating. So appreciate the advice there. So think we'll kind of wrap things up, but I really appreciate your time, John. If everyone's looking for you, like I said, they can find you at Night.Game.Umpire on Instagram. Yeah, anywhere else right now, or just on the YouTube?
Really, Instagram is the main thing, and then YouTube, I'll put free stuff for anyone that wants
Awesome. Well, check it out there, and make sure you go and follow John on Instagram. Give him some likes because there's plenty of beautiful content there. And appreciate your time, sir.
Yep. Thank you. This was a real treat.